Good evening and welcome to Ringer Sports Studio. Today is Thursday, October the 10th. I'm Ringer Senior and I'm here with
Ringer Junior.
and we are broadcasting Thursday night football action at Ringer Sports Studio. Father-son duo broadcasting sides, totals, props, you name it. We love to talk about it. All major sports, NFL, college football, Major League Baseball, NBA is soon to kick off. College basketball will kick off in the next little while as well. The best time of year is happening right now at Ringer Sports Studio, where you're getting almost daily videos now, if not 4 or 5 times a week, especially during Major League Baseball playoff season, where there's games pretty much every night of the week. And of course, you have MAC action and Conference USA football action Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, along with college football Friday nights and Saturdays, and of course, NFL action on Sundays, Thursdays, and Mondays. But tonight is Thursday night football action. We've got a couple of picks we want to share for the Thursday night San Francisco at Seattle game. And we also have a couple of college football games as well that we are going to share what our totals are on those specific games and or props that we have. Quick recap for yesterday. My video I posted 4-2 record yesterday. On the day, we had two 5% plays. We were rocking and rolling our 5% plays. We were sitting at 13-1 going into last night, and we got one right and one wrong. So it moves our total to 14-2 on our 5% plays over the last number of weeks that we've started recording in the fall, which was in early September. The 5% plays that we had last night, we had Schmidt over 3.5 hits, which actually all ended up happening in one inning. We got three hits, two of them with two outs in the Kansas City Yankees game, where the Yankees ended up winning that game. But Kansas City was on the cusp of scoring a couple runs with two outs. They had two huge back-to-back hits, one being a triple to get us over for the total there. And our second total was San Diego over 3.5 total runs scored. They've been an offensive machine. I think I had said leading into that to us taking that 5% play, they were 11-4 over 11-4 over the last 15 of getting over 3.5 runs on either a win or a loss, and they actually got shut out by the Dodgers, who came to play in a must-win situation for the Dodgers last night. So we missed out on that. We had three other 3% plays that did come in last night as well, and so now we're back at it tonight. We're talking college football, and we are talking NFL action. I've got a couple of different plays that we're going to look in at, and I've also got another 5% play that I'm going to share on this video. It's not kicking off until Saturday, but I do want to share it now because I do think the line is going to move, and I wanted to share the pick now before the line actually moved. And then we will look at doing. We'll be looking at doing most likely some 5% plays this weekend for college football and obviously for NFL as well. So let's kick things off here tonight. I'm going to flip it over to Ringer Junior. He's going to broadcast the pick that he likes. We'll go back and forth here, and then we'll wrap it up with my 5%er. So Ringer Junior, what do you like tonight?
My first pick, I'm going to look at San Fran over 13.5 in the first half team total. I'm going to look at this as a 4% play. I think they're actually going to have a massive bounce back game coming off a big loss to Arizona. They are now 2-3. If they lose this, they're 2-4. San Fran is definitely not a 2-4 team. I think they're going to come to play tonight. Start hot early. Probably put up 14, 17 points. And Seattle is going to play from behind, I think, the entire game. So I think that San Fran's going to get over this 13.5 team total in the first half with a 4% play.
Right on. Yeah, over 13.5 is sounds like a pretty good side to take or a total to take here in the prop side of things for San Francisco. As Ringer Jr. said, they're sitting at 2-3 on the season, heading into Seattle 3-2. Seattle's coming off the very tough loss to the Giants at home. They've started off extremely hot, and they have been scoring a lot of runs. Putting up a lot of points on the board. Seattle and San Francisco has been doing extremely well moving the ball. I think they're first overall in the league on yards per play, but they're 26th in the league red zone offense and red zone and total points. But I do think that's going to change. I think it's a must-win situation, as Ringer Jr. says, for San Francisco. I really like them to actually cover the spread here, but I'm not going to make the play because it's a divisional game and divisional road teams, sorry, divisional home underdogs in divisional games actually fare out pretty well. And I think this is a really tough game to pick on the side. So my pick is going to fall in line with junction with Ringer Jr. has. And I'm looking at the overall total here sitting at 49. The line's already moved up by at least 1 point. It was 48 earlier in the week, and it's moved up to as high as 49 today. We already got this pick in. I think if you look at Seattle's offense, Geno Smith's been moving the ball on offense and scoring runs at will. The only game they never scored over 20 points was in the Denver game to kick things off for the year. They've scored over 20 points each and every game at minimum. And I do think that San Francisco is going to have a breakout game. I think Purdy's going to light it up tonight and move the ball. I think they're going to get up and over 30 total points for the game. So I like Ringer Jr.'s 13.5 pick. I see this as a San Francisco cover as well, but it's not gonna make my card tonight. But I do like over 49. I see this being a 31-24 type of game with San Francisco coming out on top. So 4% play, give me over 49 in the Seattle San Francisco matchup tonight. Ringer Jr., you've got another prop or two on this game as well.
Yeah, I actually got two on the exact same player. I'm going to talk about both of them. I like Geno Smith over 34.5 passing attempts as a 3% play, and him also over 248.5 passing yards as a 3% play. I think that he's going to have to move the ball a ton. They're going to be down in this game. I think San Fran's going to come out hot early. Geno's been passing the ball a lot lately. Last game he threw it 40 times. The game before that against Detroit, extremely high scoring game, threw it 56 times. The game before that, in a game they were up the entire game, they won by 21 against Miami. He only threw 34 times, but the game after that he threw 44. So he's been slinging the rock a lot, and he's gone over his yards total in 4 of his last 4. As I said, I think they're going to be playing from behind, and I think that he's going to easily get over these attempts and passing yard total at 34.5 and 248.5.
Yeah, it seems to make sense for me. Geno's stat lines are chalking up to be some big totals this year specifically. And as you said, Ringer Jr., you can get that 13.5 in, then Seattle's most likely going to be playing from behind most of the game. It is a must-win for San Francisco, and I say a must-win. It's not really, but it definitely is, especially playing a divisional team. If they lose, it puts Seattle at 4-2, and moves San Francisco 2 games behind, and the tiebreaker is not going to help them out. So I know San Francisco is going to come out and move the ball very quickly. They've got to score in the red zone. If they can score in the red zone, touchdowns versus field goals, especially with Moody out. I'm not sure who the kicker is going to be for San Francisco, but I know he's been ruled out tonight. So they're going to be aggressive to try and score red zone touchdowns, which I think is going to happen, putting Seattle behind and having Geno to throw the ball. So I think that's a really good pick on your side for both the total yards and the passing attempts. I'm looking at a quarterback as well on my side in Brock Purdy here. This stat line he hasn't really done well at, but I do think it's going to be a breakout game. I actually have this as a 4% play. Almost made a 5% card for me here, even though he's only 1-4 on the season with this specific prop, and that is over 1.5 touchdown passes. As I said, they've been a dumpster fire when it comes to the red zone. They've got to turn it around. They're going to create some offensive plays. They're healthy now, with the exception of Mason being in the backfield versus CMC. But Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle, Kittle's still a little bit banged up and questionable. But I think he'll be playing tonight. I think that all their offensive threats will be in place. Mason's actually running the ball extremely well, replacing CMC. Ayuk had a huge comeback game last week with tons of yards. He missed training camp in the first week, but I think he's got his step now. Too many offensive threats for San Francisco tonight, and I do think Purdy's going to be able to air the ball out. Hopefully, he can get maybe a long touchdown with Debo or one for Ayuk to make it easy, and then when they get into goal line situations, If they can shut Mason down early, they're going to pass the game, and you can find Kittle in the end zone. I think another side one might be Kittle for a touchdown as a lean as well on here. But give me Brock Purdy over 1.5 touchdowns. He's breaking out tonight. He's going to put up 3 against the Rams in that tough 27-24 loss. But I do think Brock is going to get at least 2, if not 3 touchdown passes on their way to a victory tonight and putting up 31 plus points. So Brock Purdy over 1.5 touchdowns as a 4%er. Ringer Jr., your next pick. Do you have another one?
Yep, I'm actually going to look at college football. I'm actually going to look at the 2-game parlay. I'm going to boost these down quite a bit. I'm going to look at the James Madison game. I think this is going to be a shootout here. I'm going to look at James Madison over 27.5 points, bumping that down, I think, 7 points there. And same thing with Coastal Carolina, moving that down to 20.5. I think this is going to be an absolute shootout. It could get in the 60s, 70s here. I'd say it's probably going to be a 31 to, I'd say, 28 game, 35 to 31. Just an absolute shootout. Coastal Carolina has been putting up a lot of points. Their defense is not too good. James Madison had 70 the other week. 66, I think, against Ball State as well. So they've been putting up points. So I like this 20.5 and 27.5. Take that as a 4% play.
Wow, very good. I think both teams are very strong offenses, as you say, and I think you're right that we're going to have a high scoring game here. I think the line has teeter-tottered. It opened at 58 and it jumped as high as 63. I think it's sitting at around 60 right now. I actually have this myself as my next pick, sitting on a 3% play over the 60.5 for a lot of the same reasons, Ringer Jr., that you just shared. Both teams are powerful offenses. Coastal Carolina put up 45 last week, gave up 43 the week before against Virginia, but scored 24. They've scored 28 and 40 and 55 points in their last 5 matchups. James Madison has actually been a teeter-totter. They put up 30, then they put up 13, then they put up 70, then they put up 63, and then they lost and only put up 19. But I do, because both defenses are not the greatest here, I think we're going to see an absolute shootout. As Ringer said, I don't think anyone's going to be in the 20s. I think both teams will probably make it to the 30s. I think this might be a last possession game for somebody that may have an opportunity to win and score the game. I do love your bet, Ringer Jr., on the 2-game juice down parlay, and I'm going to take this up and over 60.5 as a 3% play. I think that's a wrap for you, Ringer Jr. Yeah, Ringer Jr.'s got a wrap for his picks. I did take another pick. I'm not going to get into much detail other than I've got the Middle Tennessee Louisiana Tech game. Actually, I got 2 more picks. Louisiana Tech Middle Tennessee game under 49. The math is pretty simple. Both teams are horrible, and they can't move the ball. It's going to be a boring game. I'm not sure if it's on our TV here tonight, but we definitely won't be watching it. I'll be looking at the scores on my app to see how they're making out there. But I see this as a really dismal game that's going to be into the high teens or low 20s. Both teams struggle to move the ball, and I think there's going to be an easy under here. It might get to 45 points. Give me 3% under 49 for Middle Tennessee and Louisiana Tech. The other 3% play that I have tonight is Western Kentucky home as well tonight against UTEP. High-powered Western Kentucky team. Their team total is at 38.5. They're playing UTEP, as I said, and I think this is going to be another opportunity for Western Kentucky to put up some points. It's only a 3% play. They were in tough last week to BC, a tough defensive team. But I think they're going to be playing a UTEP team that's not that great on defense. They gave up, UTEP's given up 41, 27, 28, 27, and 40, an average of about 38 or about 37 or 38 points, which I think is going to be easy for Western Kentucky to get up and over the total here. So give me Western Kentucky on a 3% play over 38.5 points. All right, so that's a wrap for our picks. Now I'm going to jump into game coming up in a couple of days. We are looking at Penn State heading to USC. Over under total sitting at 5.5. The line for USC is their home dogs. They were plus 5.5. The line has moved to 5. Very interesting matchup here. Penn State's heading to the West Coast. USC's coming off a loss last week. And Penn State, struggled against UCLA. Ended up winning the game relatively easy, but really struggled for the first half. I know we had Penn State to cover the spread, and it never actually checked out for us. But they've struggled, and they actually weren't tight against Bowling Green in the first half a couple of games ago, and they have been susceptible to giving up some points as well. So I'm looking at the over here for a couple of reasons. Coach for USC is an absolute phenom when it comes to the over/under totals for his games. He's 65% of the over, 58-31 over his last 89 career games. That's coaching with 3 or 4 different teams, and also he is 7-0-1, which is 88% to the over when the line is 58 or higher. And this line is sitting at 50. There's eight points to even give up here. I think USC is going to figure out their stuff on offense. They're going to be able to put up some points to Penn State. Interesting the line's moving to the USC side just because of the unknowns and how not well they played the last few games. And Penn State, they typically like to run up the score and to cover the spread, as the coach had said in the past. And if Penn State gets up and USC puts up any points, then Penn State's going to want to try and score a rebound to get up and over that spread of 5.5. So love this as a 5% play. I'm posting it now. I do think the line's going to move to 51 or 52. And line at 50 in college football with a strong, powerful offensive coach like USC has. It's going to be like our Alabama Vandy game last week, where we cashed that one in midway through the third quarter, up and over the total for a 5% play. So give me Penn State at USC over 50.5, 5%er. Looking to move that to 15-2. Probably have 1 or 2, if not 3 5%ers before the game even launches. So we'll see how we make out with that record. But that's where we're at. That's our clip for today. That's our lineup. No MLB action tonight on the picks. Specifically, was looking at a couple of different games. If I was to lean anything, I like Cleveland, Detroit under 6.5. Both teams haven't been able to score. Cleveland's scored those 5 runs in game 1 and only scored 2 runs since then. And Detroit's winning with their defense and their pitching and their bullpen. So even though it's 6.5, it's a low number. I think that if I was to take one, I would lean to the under. And then if you look at the Kansas City and the Yankees game tonight, the Yankees are probably went out tonight with Cole on the mound. Both starters, Waka and Cole, did not pan out too well in game 1. Lots of offense, scores back and forth with the Yankees winning that first game. I think Cole has the experience to kind of lock this one up tonight. If I was to lean, I would take the Yankees. Not really sure on the over-under total here. The Yankees only scored 3 runs last night, in a 3-2 game, only on 4 hits. So they haven't been able to hit the ball. Judge still doesn't have a hit in the series. Probably breaks out tonight. It's got to break out at some point. And Bobby Witt only had 1 hit last night. So it's hard to say what's going to happen here, but if I was to lean, I would take the Yankees. I don't know, Ringer Jr., you got anything to add on these baseball games tonight?
No, all I know is Judge has been terrible in his career in the postseason. I saw his stat. He's only hitting 200 in his career for the postseason, so he sucks in the clutch.
I don't know if he sucks in the clutch. I mean, he's almost a Triple Crown winner. He struggles in the playoffs. I think he's probably putting too much pressure on himself, but he's got a lot of powerful offense. Stanton was lights out last night with 3 hits. Lined a line shot off center field wall for 1 hit, and then of course he uppercut swing for the easy home run shot on a slider last night to give them the win with that the run leading home run shot that happened. But otherwise, we're not nothing on our card for baseball tonight. Looking at college football and NFL. So please like, subscribe, share our YouTube channel. Find us at Twitter, ColinRing12, Ringer Sports Studio. Give us a like if you like the action. Like I said, we are 14-2 on our last 16 5% plays, with one more coming up this Saturday, and coming off a 4-2 night on my video posted yesterday. So enjoy your Thursday night football action. It's a great time of year. Until then, see you next time.